News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
KVNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Roof Rescue. Northern Utah has been through an early start to the cold and flu season, and Bear River Health Department epidemiologist Tanisha Stoker said the total number of reported positive flu tests so far this season has already passed totals of the previous 5 seasons. However, the number of influenza-associated hospitalizations in the Bear River District has not yet reached a critical point. Bear River Health Department Public Information Officer Esty Hunt said the best way to protect against the flu is to get a flu shot.
Getting a flu shot, it can reduce the risk of contracting the flu, and it can also reduce the risk of the severity of symptoms if you do get the flu or you do get sick. We've all heard about the nationwide shortage of influenza treatment medications this year, so prevention is definitely going to be the most important and the key to preventing illness this year. This year's flu vaccine has been shown and proven to be very effective at both preventing illness and reducing hospitalizations. So we want people to remember that even though we're into flu season, it is not too late to get vaccinated for the flu.
She said if you are sick, stay home and practice good hygiene. If flu symptoms become severe, hospitals in the Bear River District offer emergency room care. KVNU News Time is 4:06. KVNU weather for tonight. Mostly clear skies with patchy fog after midnight, low 10 to 15. And then on Saturday, patchy fog in the morning, otherwise sunny skies, high temperature in the lower 20s. But snow in the forecast for Sunday, snow likely in the morning, chance of snow in the afternoon. Temperatures still cold into the lower 20s for the high. We're in the 20s today, right now 24 degrees at KVNU. They have cold weather items that you need at Napa Auto Parts. Save up to $19 a pair on silicone wiper blades from Trico and Rain-X. Also, diesel additives in stock as well at your 5 locally owned Preston to Providence Napa Auto Parts stores.
This is David from Roof Rescue. A roof is not something most people think about until they notice a leak on the ceiling. This time of year, fluctuation in temperatures, along with rain, snow, and ice, can do a number on your roof. If you notice these leaks, they won't go away on their own and are oftentimes a sign that the roof has reached the beginning of the end of its life. Call Roof Rescue for a free analysis, diagnosis, and estimate. Let's fix those leaks and keep you dry this winter. Call 435-999-4268 or visit roofrescueusa.com. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
KVNU News Time is 4:08. An Instagram post showing a man holding an AR-15 style rifle and writing, quote, "If I were you, I wouldn't go to school tomorrow," end of quote. And well, that led to his arrest by Park City Police. 25-year-old Mariano Agustin Sanchez faces charges of threats against a school and has been booked into the Summit County Jail for threats against a school. On Wednesday morning, a woman called police after she saw the social media post written in Spanish by a man she said was recently fired from the Park City Mountain Resort Ski School. There were 3 posts in all, one containing the threat, with the other 2 showing a man holding an AR-15 and making a clicking sound, and another with a man also holding a gun with the caption, quote, "Typical of the United States, you go looking for clothes and end up buying a weapon," end of quote. Police were able to determine the posts were created at the Park City Big 5 store, with detectives able to trace them to Sanchez, who said they were jokes for the benefit of his Argentinian followers. An employee at the store confirmed that 4 men were at the store looking at guns and asked what was necessary to purchase them, though they left without buying anything. The Park City Mountain Resort confirmed Sanchez had been fired from the ski school but did not provide any additional information. 20 regional and national news organizations have formed a coalition to ask a judge to narrow a gag order in the case of a man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students. The coalition, which includes the Associated Press, contends press access to law enforcement officers and others involved in high-stakes cases ensures the public is accurately informed about the criminal justice process. 28-year-old Brian Koberger is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary in connection with the stabbing deaths in Moscow, Idaho. AP's national news director, Josh Hoffner, says the gag order is unnecessarily sweeping and severely impedes the public's understanding of the investigation. KVNU News Time is 4:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Help us recognize the champions in our communities. Submit your nominations by visiting KVNUtalk.com. The Above and Beyond Salute, sponsored by Firehouse Subs.
If it's leaking, replace it. If it's worn, replace it. If you're constantly worrying about it with every windstorm, replace it. What are we talking about? Your roof. Palmer's Metal Mart is your place for a long-lasting, great-looking metal roof for your home, cabin, barn, or shed. Metal roofing is the put-it-up-and-forget-about-it roofing solution. For almost 30 years, people have chosen Palmer's Metal Mart for metal roofing for their selection, price, and most importantly, the professional help you get with your project. From start to finish, Metal Mart can help you with all the options for your amazing metal roof. Whether it's an accent on your roof or a complete re-roof, Palmer's Metal Mart is the place to go. Metal provides a unique and timeless look that gives the wow factor to any project. So come see the metal roofing experts at Palmer's Metal Mart, located in Lehigh and Logan. We're ready to help. Ask about quick same-day will calls or delivery to your door. Palmer's Metal Mart, everyone's metal store.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have 2 guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People, Friday, January 20th, a special 2-hour movie show about to get underway here today, recapping the holiday season box office and looking ahead at the award season just around the corner. A bit of a lull as far as new movies go. Everyone already excited about films coming out. February 17th, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, getting a lot of discussion. We do have several new films hitting theaters next weekend, but for this week, one new movie that you can see here in Logan. And it's one that might get some traction. It's called Missing. It stars Storm Reed, Nia Long, Joaquim Del Almeida, and Ken Leung. This is a film made by the folks who made a couple of years ago horror film / thriller, more thriller than a horror film, called Searching. It plays out entirely on screens, phone screens, computer screens, chats, the occasional shot of someone looking at a screen so that you remember human beings were involved. And it somehow managed to actually be kind of exciting for that description that sounds not so. I liked it. So the filmmakers behind Searching are back with a second film called Missing. And the plot of Missing is, well, it kind of, to me, seems like a redo, actually, of the same thing. Described as a thrilling roller coaster mystery, making you wonder how well you know those closest to you. It again plays out like Searching from a couple of years ago from these same filmmakers. It plays out on screens mainly with some shots of this one includes TV screens, some of the story being told through television coverage and live streaming on TikTok and Facebook and things like that as the public reacts to a missing person. A mother, Nia Long, disappears while on vacation in Colombia with her new boyfriend, and June, her daughter, decides to take matters, after authorities have had no luck, to take matters into her own hands, searching for answers and bypassing the international red tape. Thousands of miles away, though, in Los Angeles, June is forced to get pretty creative using technology at her fingertips, and others in other countries using the same technology, building a team of amateur investigators to find the missing mom. But the story goes, as she, quote, digs deeper, her digital sleuthing raises more questions than answers, and when June finally unravels the secrets about her mom, she discovers that she really never knew her at all. I'm intrigued. I'll go see this one, even though it seems like, they're rehashing the same gimmick that they used to make searching creative. Missing playing out the same way on phones, on screens, and very little, in-person action. It still, searching was, I was glued to the story, and missing seems like a play on the same tropes, but with a different angle and some inclusion of social commentary as to how these types of things, when they become an international news story, play out, and how very hamstrung authorities can often be when they have to try to solve something like a missing person situation without creating an international incident at the same time. So I'm intrigued by this. It is in theaters here in Logan. It's playing at both Providence and University Megaplex theaters. On the streaming services, new this week, quite a bit actually, but topping the list of, at least as far as what everyone's been watching, not necessarily what everyone's been liking, but what everyone's been watching. The Last of Us, based on a video game, is the most streamed new show of the week. Velma, which is not new, is still up in the top 2 stream shows. Servant, The White Lotus on HBO Max, Vikings Valhalla on Netflix. Those are the top 5 on the streaming services. And new this week, so far, not a lot of reaction that I've read to really be conclusive, but we have remakes on streaming services and television of Night Court and the 70s show, but this time around called The 90s Show. Both of those premiered this week as well, if you want to check them out. It's worth seeing. Recommendation from me, if you haven't had a chance yet, it is streaming still on a couple of different services. Check out The Banshees of Inisherin. That's pretty good, honestly, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, pretty entertaining. And it's not new, but if you haven't seen it, it's still topping the list of streaming services in the number 6 category, The Menu. It is not at all what you think, so worth checking out. There's your rundown of what to watch this weekend. Hear what Andy has to say about the new films in theaters, the box office, the signs that we are heading into probably one of the biggest summer movie seasons we've seen in a few years now. All of that coming up with Andy Morgan and the For the People movie show, which continues right after this.
One size doesn't fit all in education. But what if you could give your child an education that fits their needs? Afford the right school, the right tutor, or the right learning therapy for your child. With the Utah Fits Scholarship, you can. You'll get a portion of your child's state education dollars, $8,000 a year, to use towards tuition and educational services. Ask your state representative to support the Utah Fits Scholarship. Learn more at utahfitsall.com. This message was paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
It's a cold, blustery night, but you're warm and cozy inside in front of your new low-pi or extraordinaire fireplace. The dancing flames, nice even heat. You and yours are loving it, and you know it's love when they say,
"Boy, we're really saving on our heat bills, aren't we, hun?" For the love of savings, ask Jim Chimney about rebates up to $3,800 for qualifying conversions from inefficient wood stoves for fireplaces. We sell, service, and install. Visit us at jimchimney.com.
Give me a ride.
You don't have a driver's license? How old are you? Clutch in and brake. Brake. The car is stopped. Don't hit the car. Brake.
I almost hit the car.
It's all right. It's a hybrid.
Well, it's all right.
Welcome back to the For the People movie show. Just a bit there from the trailer for the new Tom Hanks vehicle, Man Called Otto. Is it fair? Is it fair to just say Tom Hanks vehicle at this point?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it?
Yeah, I definitely think it's so.
I feel like sometimes movies are getting made for Tom Hanks to be in them, which I'm not.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, this has happened with others. I just
Sure.
watched. So Fletch is on Netflix, by the way. If anybody wants to a good walk down memory lane, I feel like Chevy Chase for a while. These movies, John Candy. There were many people I think over the years where movies were getting made just because you had this actor that would make it hilarious.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that.
But so I don't mean that as a slight, but I feel like this was a movie that got made because Tom Hanks was there and had time.
You know, I struggle,
and I'll see it.
I struggle with sometimes. I'm not saying this to make it sound like I'm a snob, but because you know I'm not.
Here comes the movie critic high horse.
I'm not trying to.
Movie boy.
That's right, movie boy. You snobby little movie boy. Take your opinions somewhere else. No, what I was going to say is I don't. Sometimes I'm like. I'm a big believer in. I love it, and I argue with people a lot. Is I don't mind reboots. I don't mind remakes because I love to see other people's versions of a story. Right?
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, some don't like we don't need the first Avatar redone.
No,
10 years from now.
Right.
But most movies, I think you can do that, and it works and can be good.
Yeah, I think what I'm talking about is more of like a franchise film that gets restarted. Like, for instance, you have the 3 Nolan Batmans. Before that, we had the Joel Schumacher Batmans. Before that, we had the Tim Burton Batmans. And then after Nolan, we had the Ben Affleck Batmans, and now we have this Robert Pattinson Batman with Matt Reeves. And so,
you know what I want to see? I want to see someone brave enough to remake some of the late 70s, early 80s comedies, that were like
Airplane?
No, like Animal House and 1941 was John Belushi.
So I think some people could probably...
Ooh-wee, that's a racist comedy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Stephen. Stephen, anyway.
And it's funny, but you feel guilty almost.
You know what was funny to me is there were back in the late 70s, early 80s, actually probably more like the early 80s, when you had the success with George Lucas, you had the success with Steven Spielberg. It didn't matter what the movie was. If their name was attached to it, you're like, count me in. It's going to be a magical ride again. And then you found yourself in the theater watching Howard the Duck or
Willow.
Oh, my gosh. Somebody out there's like, hey, man, Willow's great. No, it's not.
I thought it was hilarious when Disney was putting that out. They're like, Val Kilmer is in it. I'm like, oh, really? I can't believe...
I just don't.
Even he hasn't worked in like 20 years, and he was still no.
I just don't. I got to be honest with you. It's not a thing that I am doing. Carwell's over, but I did that. I went into the theaters. I was like, oh, Steven Spielberg, he's the producer of this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's there's reason. And then you remember too. This, and then it was like anything that even had a smidgen of feel of an Indiana Jones. I mean, that's why I know that's why you went to Alan Quatermain and the Lost Mines in the Kingdom of...
I saw that. I did.
And I know that's why I saw Kroll 10 times.
I saw Kroll in theaters.
I was like,
too young to get
wait.
it, but well, this ain't Star Wars.
Wait a minute. This is like medieval stormtroopers?
Yeah.
And he's got a glaive, and he dipped his hand in the lava, and he grabbed it, and there's a spider. And it's
really sharp frisbee.
Yeah.
Never understood that.
Same
weapon.
thing like the last Starfighter.
Yeah.
I wish I could be in the pitch meeting for that. They're like, what if we get this like really cool teen actor, and he loves video games, and kids love video games today, and he plays this one called Last Starfighter, and then the guy from The Music Man shows up in a DeLorean.
It's not weird. Yeah.
And he's real flamboyant.
I forget that
he's the most flamboyant space cadet.
I forget there was like a rash of Indiana Jones style movies after that. I forgot. Some, not very many of them good.
Do you think
Buckaroo Bonanza? What's the one that's now become a cult following? It's a guy's name. I'll find it.
It's not Alan Quartermain?
No, maybe. No, it's like it's along the lines of like Buck Rogers in the 21st Century, like that type of a title. But this was early 80s. And the Mystery Science Theater guys did a riff tracks of it, and I'll find it. But apparently that one's like getting a resurgence as
well. Hey, really quick,
something Danger, Mr. Danger, and I'll find it.
Johnny Dangerously. There's a funny comedy.
Yeah,
that should always.
Oh, so you just made me think of a good example of things that could be just rebooted every 10 years, and they'll make money and be funny and worth your time. But 21 Jump Street.
Oh yeah,
I think
agree.
you could redo both of both
I would
of those
like to see a third.
I would with
guys,
the same guys.
Those guys have great chemistry. Did you see the trailer for the new Eddie Murphy movie with? It looks kind of funny.
It's the first time I've seen something with Eddie Murphy and thought that actually looks funny.
Eddie Murphy
in a long time.
I don't think he's in a position right now where he's like, I have got to get a job.
Yeah.
But going back to your original point, there is not. I mean, to your point, yes, Plane is in the theaters. I wish I could find the TikTok where the guy said, where it was basically like Gerard Butler in every movie, and everyone knows this if you've seen a lot of Gerard Butler movies. He's Scottish, and he does something with his mouth when he's trying to talk like he's American. And I'm just like, just be Scottish. It's okay.
Yeah, we can handle it.
We'll be all right. But when he talks, it's like his mouth almost gets crunched up. So he's like, my name is Mike Flanagan, and I'm a pilot.
Yeah.
I'm from Wisconsin.
I read a thing from set production that he, apparently when he does that, he spits a lot.
Oh.
And so, just don't do it. But here, I also realized this. I don't know why, in this movie, in this trailer, he reminds me of guy from Jaws, Roy Schneider.
Oh,
He's got this, like, Roy Schneider as the sheriff in Jaws look to him, although this movie looks like nothing like that.
Yeah. No,
they should just call these Gerard Butler beats some people up for a good cause.
Well, and
everybody will understand what the plot is, and they'll see it if they want to,
you know that what you're going to get when you get a Gerard Butler movie. It's like going to a Liam Neeson movie these days. It's just Bruce
Liam Neeson's in a movie about snowplow drivers in Alaska, you just know. I mean,
there's so much more we could say about that would be inappropriate for the radio. But
it's going to be Liam Neeson beating people up for a good cause.
So Plane is in theaters. If you're just looking for a very quick, like, no frills action movie where you're not gonna write about it in your journal when you go home tonight, but you are gonna be like, that wasn't bad, and you'll probably watch it on TBS or TNT at some point 3 years from now when you're lazing on the couch on a Sunday. That's what you're gonna get with that. Plane is rated R, violence language, and then obviously you mentioned this before. Tom Hanks, Man Called Otto, PG-13, remake of a same foreign movie somewhere over in Europe. I don't know the country. Just kidding. I wanted to sound like never mind. Megan is still in theaters.
Yes, it is.
It is. You can also still catch. I said this last week. I'm going to say it again. If you have young kids, or you're just a fan of animation and just feeling good, go see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Highly underrated. And then you mentioned, obviously, too, if you want to sacrifice another 4 hours of your life, you can go see Avatar. Which, again, is not a... I'm not bagging on it.
No, it's a good movie. It's just that's a lot of time.
And that's the same thing in both theaters, Providence and the University Theater. The only difference over at the University is that you can also still catch the Whitney Houston movie, I Wanna Dance.
So if we were going to rank these for listeners in order of what you should go see, I was thinking I'd put Tom Hanks in A Man Called Otto first, only because it's new, and then I'd probably see Puss in Boots, and then third choice would be Avatar again, even though it's 4 hours. Fourth choice would be Megan, Plane would be last. So that's my review of Plane right there. Megan. Have you seen the social media campaign they're doing? And they're getting their behinds. I wish they'd just stop. People are tweeting how awful this movie is.
Yeah,
and they are tweeting out these videos, a simulation of that tweet being erased by Megan and rewritten by Megan, and it's the Megan voice, the robotic voice, and this is how they're marketing the movie right now. Just today I saw this. They're tweeting out the people who have hated this movie.
Well, the other thing that's going to happen, too, with this is that the filmmaker or the screenwriter, I think earlier in the week, somebody was like, man, the body count on this seemed like it would have been way higher. And the screenwriter was like, oh, it was. But the studio was like, hey, we got to get teens into this, so make it PG-13. And so the screenwriter was basically saying, I am pretty, 99.9% sure that what comes to, DVD or Blu-ray, whatever, streaming will be an uncut Megan or an R-rated version of
the original R-rated
kind of the original
version.
idea of it, because they said that in the screenplay the body count is a lot higher.
It doesn't make sense to make this movie PG-13. This is one of my frustrations with PG-13. There are certain movies that they're for a certain audience who will go see R-rated movies. And that's the movie you're making it for, and you refuse to acknowledge that. You want the teens, and you ruin the movie, and it happens to a lot of horror films. It's it's one of the worst decisions I think.
I get
the companies make.
I get the business idea of it, right? Because statistics don't lie. A PG-13 movie is going to make more money. So I don't know. I guess I'm split on that.
Accept the reality, you have made an R-rated movie. This is what you've made. Deal with it.
Yeah. I think this is the time. I think if there's a plan, like in the beginning, I think they can satisfy filmmakers like that too, because you know as well as I do how movies, their lifespan extends beyond the theater run.
Sure.
And that's happened a lot of times with, director's cuts and things. Director's cut of Blade Runner is better. Director's cut of Justice League is better. Director's cut, that's just the thing. So I don't know. That would be tough. I think that would be tough from a business standpoint, but also as a filmmaker too, to write something and have somebody be like, we're going to cut a lot of this out, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to water this down.
I just think you always end up with a bad,
but then they get their paycheck, they're like, you know what, I'm good.
There are exceptions, like the original. What was his name? Kevin Williamson. He kind of disappeared. Not to be confused with the conservative writer. He was a film writer, and he wrote a million. He worked with Wes Craven on Scream. But he wrote The Faculty, which is actually an underrated horror movie with Jon Stewart in it, of all people playing a teacher.
That actually just reminded me of something.
But so they made these PG-13 horror movies. I Know What You Did Last Summer. There were a couple of them, and they did it, The Faculty. They did it intentionally. The movie was made with PG-13 in mind. It wasn't cut back. It wasn't, and those worked. They weren't great horror movies, but they made a lot of money. They were entertaining. They were perfect summer movies, and they were scary. And so I think it can be done, but I just think when you're making this plot demands an R, and that no one.
I would say
thought of that.
I would say
I don't know.
I would say what makes it okay, like if you're making a PG-13, I think if you make a movie PG-13, I think what makes it okay is if there's sometimes where it feels like they're masking it, or that it feels like they've, it feels like you're purposely pulling back.
Yeah.
That's where I think you get a little wishy-washy, so.
I can see that, okay.
But no.
That's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the director's cut is, but I know that Megan is enjoying a lot of success. And you know what that means too. You got a Megan 2, a Megan 3. I mean, you got all this coming down the pike. If it works, they're going to do it.
I'm a little more picky with these movies because the premise appeals to me. This is my favorite sci-fi horror trope. You know, this kind of thing. AI gone wrong, but. Yeah, just. But I will say this: I will watch this before I would go rewatch Steven Spielberg's
The Fabelmans
AI.
Oh God, that makes me sad that you made me remember. It makes me sad you made me remember that.
I would see Megan a couple of times before I would rewatch that one.
I'm really excited. After when we come back, we got to start. I'm gonna list some movies.
Cool.
Maybe number 25.
Everybody loves a good list.
Yeah, I couldn't pare it down, but
that's all right. You're 25,
26
of the must.
The big
kind
some of the big things coming out in the next
12.
Well, I guess 11 and a half months.
25 movies you should make sure to write on your calendar if you still do that kind of thing. Right after this, look at the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:36, and the news is brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. During a series of 6 late January and early February public meetings, the Utah State University Presidential Search Committee will seek input as the process to identify the school's next leader continues toward an expected summer 2023 conclusion. Those attending may join in-person or virtual meetings between January 25th and February 2nd. With input from these meetings, the committee will shape a position announcement, which is the primary advertisement for the position. Later, with the help of a search firm, the committee will recruit candidates, screen applications, and conduct interviews with a number of potential finalists. The committee co-chairs are Utah Board of Higher Education member Richard Wheeler and USU Board of Trustees Chair Kent Alder. The committee's next public announcement will include its recommendation of 3 to 5 finalists to the Utah Board of Higher Education. For full details of the search process, visit usu.edu/president-search. An Idaho judge says a couple accused in a bizarre triple murder case will be allowed to meet face-to-face to talk about strategy before they stand trial in April. EastIdahoNews.com reports attorneys for Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell presented several requests to 7th District Judge Stephen Boyce during a motion hearing on Thursday. The judge refused a motion to delay the trial until 2024, and he said he would issue a written ruling on a request to take the death penalty off the table. Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell have pleaded not guilty to murder, conspiracy, and grand theft charges. A 10-week trial is set to begin on April 3rd. And there's quite a bit of history between the team behind Theater Camp, a loving satire of musical theater kids and their teachers that premieres Saturday at the Sundance Film Festival. Molly Gordon, Ben Platt, Noah Galvin, and Nick Lieberman are all first and foremost theater kids themselves. They are also longtime friends. The film is a loving satire of a world they know well, and all contributed to the making of the comedy, which also stars Amy Sedaris and Io Edeberry. Theater Camp is seeking a distributor out of the festival, which runs through January 29th. KBNU News Time is 4:38.
We start each new year filled with hope and prosperity for things to come. At Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology, it's no different. Dr. Daines is so grateful to get to call Cache Valley home and continue to offer his services to the wonderful people that live in our beautiful valley. He wants to help you start your new year off right by improving your hearing, which over the course of time will help improve your quality of life. Give them a call at 435-753-4327 or 753-HERE to schedule an appointment, or you can visit them online at cachevalleyhearing.com.
KBNU weather for tonight. Mostly cloudy, colder, patchy fog after midnight, low 5 to 10 above. Partly sunny skies on Saturday with patchy morning fog, high in the lower 20s. And then partly cloudy to mostly cloudy Saturday night with snow, likely Sunday morning. Chance of snow in the afternoon. Accumulations possible, but high temperature not budging much above the lower 20s for the high. It's been to 26 today. It's 24 right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Roof Rescue. When you need roof repair or replacement, don't call just anybody. Call someone with the experience, knowledge, and skill to get the job done right. Call 435-999-4268, Roof Rescue. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Amanda Boydston bringing you the Daily Financial Market Report on behalf of financial advisor Clayton McMurdy and Edward Jones for Friday, January 20th. Stocks close out a tough week with Friday rally. Equities close higher on Friday, a positive finish to an otherwise challenging week as market digests mixed bag of economy data and corporate earnings announcements. Growth-style investments led the way on Friday. The Dow closed up 330 points at 33,374. NASDAQ closed up 288 points at 11,140. And S&P closed up 74 points at 3,972. In the commodity market, the price of oil was up $1.17 at $81.78, and the price of gold was up $5.40 to $1,929.30. In stocks of local interest, Apple was up $2.60 at $137.87. Autoliv was up $1.64 at $81.84. Campbell's was down 35 cents at $52.04. General Electric was up 82 cents at $77.68. Home Depot was up $4.18 at $315. Lowe's was up $2.40 at $204.53. Nucor was up $2.67 at $153.47. Procter & Gamble was up 55 cents at $142.97. Thermo Fisher was up $9.80 at $593.66. Wells Fargo was up 97 cents at $43.92. Walmart was up $1.71 at $140.54. And Zion's was up $1.96 at $51.48. This has been today's financial market report brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and Clayton McMurdy, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 1309 North Main in Logan. If you'd like additional information, please contact us at 435-753-0537.
Where do you turn for help when you have ear, nose, or throat issues? Doctors Kaiser or Wilson at Intermountain Healthcare, Budge Clinic ENT are trusted names throughout Cache Valley. Their 5-star reviews tell the story. One person wrote, Dr. Wilson answered all of my questions and was very thorough. Another person wrote, Dr. Wilson took time to ask a lot of questions and figure out what was going on. For more information about Doctors Kaiser or Wilson, search Budge Clinic ENT on the web. Doctors Kaiser and Wilson provide local care with Intermountain expertise.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. The classified document scandal for the White House may be exposing a problematic campaign promise from President Biden, which was more transparency. Also, the reason we could all be happier 4 years from now, no matter who's in the White House, it has to do with the recession. And your checklist before turning your data over to a password manager. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. Monday morning from 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news, weather, and sports.
I will be right by your side.
Women can have it all. including heart attacks. But symptoms like jaw pain, nausea, unusual fatigue, dizziness, and backache are often different and more subtle than for a man. The fact is, heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Know the signs. Learn more at getheartchecked.org. From Women's Heart Alliance, in partnership with Women Heart.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People movie show. We talked about Plane, we talked about Megan, we talked about a man called Otto. So we've taken care of business. But Andy, you say you have a list of 25 movies for the next year that people need to make note of, put on their calendar, remember to see, whatever.
Yeah.
25, that's very cool. I'm encouraged by that number.
So there is, so 2 have already come out.
Okay.
So it's more like 24. Sorry.
Now I'm disappointed.
No, I shouldn't say 2 have not already come out. So the first is Megan. Pardon me. Just again, just kind of out of the blue.
For its overall
Blumhouse,
creepiness.
Good cast. Next week, there's a movie called Missing. Did you see the? Did you see the? It was. Excuse me. 2018. Searching. And everything was kind of on the guy's computer.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that movie?
Okay. That was very. I was worried that would be gimmicky because of the premise of how it's going to be played, but it was actually done really well.
And this is the same type of thing. It's a follow up. It's called Missing, and it's about a young woman whose mother disappears while they're on vacation in Colombia with the mother's new boyfriend, and it's told via computer screens. And so that comes out next Friday. As we get further out, I cannot remember. I think this is February, so this is right before Valentine's Day. We're returning to the land of Magic Mike. There's a
really.
Steven Soderbergh.
Same cast?
Steven Soderbergh.
Some of them were
Channing
Tatum.
There, right? This is Channing Tatum and Salma Hayek. So, and it's called Magic Mike's Last Dance. Final installment, if you were wondering. If you were ever wondering when the final installment would come, now you know it's February 10th. So
Channing Tatum going to break something.
Possibly. He's been gone for a while. I know he's had some personal, some life things with, going through a divorce and stuff. But, it was nice to see him back in the Sandra Bullock movie last year. And it was nice to see him.
Which I think for him, not for her, but for him, pinnacle of his career. That movie was great.
Yeah, I think it was a nice return. I would argue the 21 and 22 Jump Streets are probably his. I think.
Yeah, I should probably go see those again before I say that.
His peak.
It's been so long since I saw though. That wheelbarrow scene.
Yeah, it's great.
Very few comedies can make me laugh as hard on repeated viewings.
Yeah, and he was in a cameo in Bullet Train, and he was really funny in that.
Actually, yeah.
I definitely think he's better in comedy, but we'll see what happens with this Magic Mike's Last Dance. 14 days later, in the end of February, a movie that I am pining to see is a movie called Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, this is.
Have you seen the trailer for
this? I mean, this is not.
This is based on a true story. When we say
this is
based
an actual
on a
movie.
We say based on a true story,
and the title is actually what it's about.
Yeah. And I mean, really, it's in the trailer
story.
when they say a bear did cocaine. I mean, there's nothing else you can say.
That's how the trailer starts.
It's I would say it's basically like if the shark in Jaws did cocaine and then just went crazy, and there was also like drug deals going down in the background and just
yeah.
Do you ever remember a movie? It was early 2000s, had ensemble cast, and it was called Big Trouble.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think of that type of thing where you've got a lot of faces.
It's based on a Dave Barry book.
Yeah, that's right. Faces that but that are all in kind of smaller roles, and that's what Cocaine Bear is. So yeah,
this was a quick note on that. This was Tim Allen playing one of the roles that Tim Allen actually could, and I would if he would have just remembered that, he would have had a better career.
Yeah,
I think. But he's good in Big Trouble.
Funny enough, this is
the goat. thing is just hilarious.
Yeah, that is funny. Cocaine Bear is actually directed by Elizabeth Banks, who we know. And then it's produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the guys that did 22 Jump Street, 21 Jump Street, Lego Movie, that kind of thing. So anyway,
okay.
As we get into March, first part of March 3rd, we get a third installment of Creed. This is actually written, by the same screenwriters, but this is the first time Michael, the star of Creed, the actor that plays Creed, Michael B. Jordan, he actually is in the director's chair for Creed 3. The whole thing has been filmed.
That should be good.
In IMAX cameras.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and then the other one, the other actor that's in this plays a long-lost pal of Adonis Creed. His name's Dame Anderson, and it's played by Jonathan Majors. That's not a name I think everyone knows right now, but it's a face you probably know.
Yeah.
He's going to be he's really up and coming.
That's very cool.
He's playing Kane the Conqueror in the Marvel. And so we not only do we see him in March, but we also see him. Anyway, that the one movie I failed to mention also was Ant-Man and the Wasp. I meant to say, or not Ant-Man and the Wasp. Sorry, Ant-Man, Quantumania. That also stars Jonathan Majors, and I'll go back to what I said a couple movie shows ago that Ant-Man,
make or break
Quantumania. I don't know. I don't want to say make or break, but this I think is the beginning of Phase 5, and this movie has to lay down the
future, basically, right?
Well, yeah, and what's at stake. Right, I think it's not only just at stake for apparently the universe inside the Marvel universe, but also the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think if they're going to keep engaging people, this is the kickoff right here.
And I say odds are good because these movies have surprised. Both the previous movies have surprised me.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought the first one was going to flop.
Iron Man?
The first Ant-Man. I didn't think it would hit like it did. I mean,
I think
Paul Rudd's great, but he's also he's just there.
Yeah, I think
and the plot, the trailer wasn't exciting. I don't know, but it ended up being a huge hit. And the second one was, I think, one of the better Marvel movies.
I am a what's the woman that plays the Wasp?
I forget too.
I almost said evil.
She's great in comedic roles.
Yeah, I like her. So later in March 24th, I mentioned Creed. Later in March, we have John Wick Chapter 4. I believe this is the final chapter.
Yeah, Keanu said he's not doing it anymore.
Yeah. This puts us almost, I think 9 years of John Wick movies.
Yeah.
Because I think we started with the, John Wick, and I think it was either the spring of 2014. I'm almost 100% sure.
Yeah, it was.
So, we're coming in, 9 years later. So, again, fun series. I think the third and the first are my favorite. I didn't really enjoy the second. So we'll see how the fourth lines up. Obviously, it's going to be a big movie.
They've held up. They've held up better than the Matrix movies have for Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. April 7th, movie that I'm excited about is the Super Mario Brothers movie. Doesn't matter what video game platform you played or when you played, everybody knows what Super Mario Brothers is.
And some of the teasers that have been out at some of the cons, it looks like this could be like the Avatar of
I know people
of video game movies.
I know people.
It looks amazing.
It does. I know people were.
Just visually
worried about Chris Pratt, and they were like, "Oh, it's Chris Pratt. What about the Italian accent?" And if you watch it, he's kind of sporting, a little bit of one, like, hey, that kind of thing, like I just did earlier when
kinda
I said,
like
"You're making me sad, Jason."
Yeah.
Someone out there that's Italian is like,
guy.
That's not fun.
Is what it reminded me of.
Later in April, we get a movie called "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret." I would definitely say check out the trailer on that. It's what I like about it is I love the cast. It's got Rachel McAdams, who you're getting old when Rachel McAdams, when they're like, hey, who could play a kind of a middle-aged mom?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, how about Rachel McAdams from Mean Girls, right? Yeah. Like, you're like, oh, I'm old.
There have been a few experiences like that for me.
Yeah, and this is a beloved book, obviously. Who's directing and writing it is Kelly Freeman Craig. If you saw The Edge of 17, I think in 2017 with Woody Harrelson.
Oh yeah,
that's same crews bringing this, and then James.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, Edward Jones agrees, and they can help. Together, they'll give your long-term retirement strategy the attention it deserves. Stop by your local Edward Jones office, one of 7 locations in Cache Valley. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
It's the January closeout and clean out time at U&I Furniture with lots of really good values store-wide. Pick out a chair, lift chairs, accent chairs, rocker recliners. Choose options like power or manual, fabric or leather, chairs with lumbar support and heat. They've also picked up lots of Maloof products at closeout prices. A queen hybrid mattress is $489, normally twice that. Queen headboards less than $100, and while they last, queen adjustable bases $199. For 93 years, a family-owned business where you'll like their honest approach. There's always a better buy at U&I Furniture, downtown Logan.
You're in the market to buy a home and dreaming of a new home you can fill with new memories. But homes just aren't in your budget. Or are they? Visionary Homes wants you to know you don't have to buy a used home. Buy new. Buy now with Visionary Homes. As a trusted award-winning Utah home builder, Visionary Homes understands that your home is the center of your life, bringing friends and family together, creating memories you'll cherish forever. Buy new. Buy now. VisionaryHomes.com.
Visionary Homes.
This is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. We are humbled by and grateful for the tremendous support we have been shown since opening our doors nearly 2 years ago. So we just want to say thank you. On behalf of everyone at White Pine, first and foremost, thank you for allowing us the honor and privilege of serving you and caring for your loved ones. Additionally, thank you for voting White Pine the best mortuary in Cache Valley in both 2021 and 2022.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers. And we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, we meet the challenge. In cybersecurity, protecting and defending in cyberspace. When natural disasters happen, we are there in space. As a strong part of the nation's defense, we are there in the community, and we are there for our nation. We share a vision to make a difference, united and focused, taking pride in being there in service of our country. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
Wrapping up hour 1 of today's show with a story you might want to check out. I've linked to it on our Facebook page and Twitter accounts for those who want to read it. Not related to anything specific in theaters or new to streaming services this week, but, well, kind of. But it's something that speaks to our current media environment, our entertainment consumption environment. It's specifically focused on Netflix, and it's talking about what the author at Forbes magazine, entertainment and culture editor at Forbes magazine, calls the self-fulfilling cancellation loop. And it's referring to something Netflix has been widely criticized for, which is Netflix has this bad habit of giving a show 2 seasons and then canceling it, which the editor at Forbes said is creating this environment where they're forgetting the fact, something that TV networks have known for decades, that they have, there's an issue of loyalty when it comes to your viewers and respect. And what Netflix is doing, the editor at Forbes writes, is instead telling Netflix viewers and subscribers, it's not really worth you getting invested in this brand new show right now, because we're just going to cancel it after a couple of seasons, even if it's really popular with the public. And so just wait till we do that, and then binge the whole thing all at once. And he writes that this is something Netflix is seeing this in their own viewership data, and he said it's a lesson that the streaming services seem to have had difficulty learning. But TV networks decades ago learned that this was key to making sure their audience stayed loyal. And that was by being loyal to their audience. It's interesting to watch this evolve. We'll see if it changes anything or makes a difference in how Netflix decides to do things, but check it out. It's an evolving world as more and more people get their entertainment from streaming, he writes. But what hasn't been the same as network television viewership over the years is that recognition that you've got to treat your viewers with some respect, or they have a lot of other options. Well said. I've linked to the story on our Facebook page. Hour 2 of our extended For the People movie show with Andy Morgan coming up right after this here on KVNU Logan.